Hello friends, welcome you all in the video what is process. This topic we are discussing related to process in Linux operating system. As we have discussed in our last videos that process is a very important part of any operating system. At the second year of our syllabus, we will just see what is process and what is the use of process in Linux operating system. How the processes are designed, what are the functionalities of the processes, and why they are so important for Linux operating system. That part that is being covered when we are going to discuss regarding operating system concepts. There in that we'll discuss in detail regarding how the processes plays an important part in functioning and operating of any operating system. So in this video, first of all, we will understand the basic concept of processes and how these processes are useful in Linux operating system. That is our main topic of discussion in today's in this video. So as we know that process is the fundamental thing on which the concept of multi-programming, multitasking, time sharing, real-time operating systems are based. So, first and foremost thing, it is necessary for us to understand what is process. As we know that if we go through the history of Linux operating system or generations of Linux operating system or operating system in general, so there we come to know that operating system has evolved from the batch processing operating system to now we are having multi-programming, multitasking, time sharing operating system. So with this regard, as we know that first we have to go into the history of operating system to understand the need of process and what is the role of the process in operating system. As we know that in the batch processing operating system, we are having the set of batch. Batch means nothing but it is the set of programs which are uh, arranged in a sequence, and that particular sequence it is called as a batch. And in that particular system, the operating system process one program or one batch at a time. And during this process, during this particular operation, if operating system require some input and output, so at that time the CPU time remains idle, means CPU time is not utilized. The fundamental thing in that particular case is we are wasting the CPU time for uh, for other purposes, and we can utilize that particular CPU time for our execution of the program. So there the concept of processes came into existence, and the concept of multi-programming operating system is evolved. So from batch processing operating system, we are having multi-programming operating system or multi-processing operating system, multitasking operating system. That is nothing but the base of these processes. So first of all, we'll discuss regarding the definition of the process, and then we'll see what are the different stages of process. So if we go through the definition, so there are so many definitions of the process. There are simple definitions. Not we are going to discuss here is that in the operating system, a process is something that is currently under execution. So whenever a program is under execution, so that particular program is called as process. So we have to clarify here, we have to clearly understand here one thing, that process is nothing but program under execution. Means program is set of instruction. When that particular program went to CPU for execution, that program can be called as a process. So process simply it is defined as it is the program under execution. So now an active program can be called a process. For example, when you want to search something on the web, then you start a web browser. So this can be a process. So simply we can say process is nothing but it is the program under execution. Now coming to our next point, job, also known as program, is an inactive unit such as a file in a disk. This entity contains at least two types of elements: program, program code, and set of data. Now, process, also called as task, is an executed program code on the processor. That is the part of an active entity. So we can differentiate between the program and process is that program is an inactive element, whereas process is an active entity. Program is a just set of instructions, and process is nothing but it is an active entity. Now coming to the process, we can say that process has various attributes associated with it. Some of the attributes of the process are: number 1, process ID, process state, then we are having CPU scheduling information, IO information, that is input and output informations. These are the basic attributes which are associated with any process. Whenever a process is running in our CPU, so this process has some basic attributes or important attributes which are listed here. So first and foremost thing is that process ID. ID means a number. So every process will be given an ID called as process ID to uniquely identify that process from other processes. As in any operating system, there are n number of processes. So to uniquely identify each processes, some unique ID is given, some number are given. So based on that numbers, we can identify the process. Like in our class, we are having roll numbers for the students to uniquely identify each and every student. So in the same way, we are having for every process, we are having a unique number associated with that particular process, and that particular number, it is called as process ID. So in any operating system, we might have n number of processes, and from that we can identify each and every process based on its ID. So process ID is nothing but it is an unique ID which is associated with any process. Now coming to the next attribute, an important attribute of the process, that is called as process state. So process state is nothing but each and every process has some state associated with it at a particular instant of time. This is denoted by process state. It can be ready, waiting, running, etc. We'll see in detail the process states. So time being, as we are discussing regarding the attributes of the processes, so for that particular topic, we have to understand that every process has some state associated with it at a particular instant of time. So that is nothing but the process states. It may be in the ready state, it may be in the waiting state, or it may be in the running state, or there are some other states are also there, like suspended, like terminated, like that. We'll see in detail when we'll discuss regarding process state transition diagram. There we can see in detail discussion, we'll see regarding the process states. Now coming to the next attribute of the process, that is process CPU scheduling information. So what is this CPU scheduling information? It is nothing but each process is executed by using some process scheduling algorithm like FCFS, first come first serve, round robin, SJF, etc. So these are nothing but algorithms. Some algorithms are there because there are n number of processes in CPU. and which process has to be executed at a particular instant of time, that will be decided by a particular algorithm, and that algorithm is nothing but CPU scheduling algorithm. And there are different types of algorithm like first come first serve, round robin, shortest job first, and so on. So we'll see in detail regarding these algorithms when we study CPU scheduling algorithms, process scheduling algorithms in detail in the topic of operating system. Now coming to the IO information or input-output informations. So each process needs some input-output devices for their execution. So the information about devices allocated and devices needed is crucial. So as we know that process, it is nothing but the program under execution, and program requires input and output. So each process has associated with some set of inputs and some set of outputs. So whatever the input or whatever the input devices it is associated, and whatever the output devices they are required for the complete execution of that particular program, that information has to be updated with every process, because process is nothing but it is from the set of instructions of the program. That's why each process has some information related to input and output devices which are required for the complete and execution of the particular process. So these are the something attributes which are necessary for execution of the complete process, and there are some other attributes are also there that we'll discuss when the need arises. So timing, you have to remember that a process has various attributes associated with it, like process ID, process state, CPU scheduling information, and input and output information. These are the some important process attributes which are associated with each and every process, and these are required for the complete and successful execution of every process. So this is regarding the information related to the process. Now coming to the states of the process. Now in these particular states we have list of n number of states are there associated with this. So in this video we'll go through just the names of the states, and in the next video we'll discuss regarding the process state transition diagram in detail. So now coming to the states of the process, during the execution of process it undergoes a number of states. In this section of the block we will learn various states of the process during its life cycle, like new state, ready state, then we are having ready suspended state, running state, waiting or blocked state, waiting suspended state, terminated state, like this. Now we'll just go through all these states and what are there, and then we'll discuss regarding the state transition diagram in detail. New state, this is the state when the process is just created. It is the first state of a process. New state. Ready state, after the creation of process, when the process is ready for its execution, then it goes in the ready state. In ready state, the process is ready for its execution by the CPU, but it is waiting for its turn to come. There can be more than one process in the ready state. Ready suspended state, there can be more than one process in the ready state, but due to memory constraint, if the memory is full, then some processes from the ready state gets placed in the ready suspended state. Running state, amongst the process present in the ready state, CPU chooses one process, then by using some CPU scheduling algorithm, this process now will be executed by the CPU and it is in the running state. Waiting or blocked state, during the execution of the process might require some input-output operations like writing on a file, or some more priority process might come. In this situation, the running process will have to go into the waiting or blocked state. Waiting suspended state, when waiting queue of the system becomes full, some process will be sent for waiting suspended state. And terminated state, After the complete execution of the process comes into terminate state and the information related to this process is deleted. So in this way, the basic terminologies of the process and their states are discussed in this video. In the next video, we'll discuss in detail regarding the process state transition diagram and other terminologies related to the process. Thank you.